we can. So, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha, Namaskar to everybody. So, today's topic is one that is very interesting, and sometimes we may think whether it is possible to follow in today's times, but we will see how we can try to adopt this concept of being truthful in our life. So, there are two stories that we have in store. The first one is about the actions of Sahadeva. We know that there were 5 Pandavas. I hope I'm audible and the screen is clear to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So we know that Sahadeva was the youngest of the Pandavas. He was the son of Madri, and he had many qualities. And one of those qualities was that he could know what is going to happen in the future. It is said about him. He was also considered to be the wisest among all the Pandavas. And during that famous yajna, when it was decided that Krishna is going to be given the supreme honor, and it will be his feet that will be washed before the beginning of the yajna. So it was in fact Sahadeva who proposed that Krishna should be worshipped, right? And that was that infamous episode when Shishupala lost his life. So Sahadeva had another quality which is not so well known, that he was very good in astrology. He was a master of this science of astrology. So it is said that at one point of time, when the war, the Kurukshetra Yuddha had to be, it was decided that now the war is going to happen, and all preparations were being made. So the date of the Yuddha had to be decided, which day the war will start. So Duryodhana knew that Sahadeva is a very good astrologer. So he approached Sahadeva. See the concepts of those times, that the whole idea that person will stick to their word, or person will follow the path of dharma and do the right thing. No, although you are on opposing sides. Duryodhana had no hesitation in going and asking Sahadeva to find the auspicious time for, starting the war. And Sahadeva was equally honorable, that he didn't think that he should lie and try to cheat Duryodhana by suggesting something wrong to him. So that was the honor in those times. We have heard of many episodes during the Yuddha itself where, how that battle was being conducted. And you compare that with something like what is happening today, then there is such a world of difference, isn't it? So even in war, there was honor which was maintained, dharma was followed. But now, of course, it's a no holds barred kind of concept, contest. Anyway, coming back to our story, Duryodhana went to Sahadeva and asked him that, I want to make sure that we are going to win. The Kauravas are going to win in the Yuddha. So you tell me the auspicious time to start the war, and also you give me the best time to to perform a particular ritual. I think it is called Kala Bali, I'm not sure. But I want to perform this particular ritual, which will ensure that we, the Kauravas, will win in the war. So Sahadeva was very truthful. So he did all his astrological calculations. He found the best time for the Yuddha. He said, you should start the Yuddha on this day. And one day before should be the day of Amavasya. And on that day of Amavasya, you perform this particular ritual at this particular time, and your victory will be guaranteed. He told that to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana happily went away. Now Krishna came to know about this. So he went to Sahadeva and said, what is this, Sahadeva? How could you do something like this? How could you give him the right time and this thing to ensure his victory in the war? Don't you want that your side should triumph? Don't you want that the Pandavas should win? Why are we fighting this war? It is a dharma yuddha. So how can you, help the enemy? So the Sahadeva said, I have no problem with helping him at all, because I know the bigger truth that is there. So Krishna says, what is that bigger truth? He says, no, I have complete faith in you. I know that you are on our side, and nothing can go wrong with us when you are on our side. So that is what gave me the strength. That is what gave me the conviction to tell the truth to Duryodhana. I'm not bothered about what he does with that information, because you are there, Krishna, on our side. You are our support. So when you are on our side, how can anything viparita happen to us? How can something which is not good for us happen to us? So I am perfectly sure and I'm certain that nothing bad will happen to us because you are on our side. Now Sahadeva said this. Now Krishna has to make sure that Sahadeva's words are also kept. So what he does is, he has to manage the situation now, as he has done, as he is going to do so many times later in the future also. So what Krishna does is, he goes on the banks of the Ganga, and on that one particular day, he sits there and he starts performing Tarpana. We know that Tarpana is done on the day of Amavasya. Duryodhana passes by that way and he sees Krishna is doing Tarpana. He says, "What, Krishna, why are you doing Tarpana?" Krishna says, "Don't you know it is Amavasya today? That is why I am doing Tarpana." Then Duryodhana says, "No, but Amavasya is supposed to be tomorrow." Krishna says, no, it is today. Who told you that? It is today. See, I am doing Tarpana today. So Duryodhana thinks that he has got the wrong calculation and he rushes away and quickly he arranges for doing all that ritual, which is going to ensure that he's going to win, because Sahadeva had told him that you must do that ritual on the day of Amavasya and next day you're supposed to start the Yuddha. So he rushes, Duryodhana rushes away and in a hurry he makes all the arrangements and he does the ritual and continues. Now, Bhishma sees that what is this that Duryodhana is doing? Because Bhishma also knew that Sahadeva had told Duryodhana that you are supposed to do it on the day of Amavasya. So he calls Duryodhana and says, what is this? Why have you done the ritual today? Amavasya is tomorrow. So Duryodhana says, no, we are all mistaken. Today only is Amavasya. So Bhishma asks him, how do you know that today is Amavasya? Who told you that? I have found out, everybody you ask, anybody, they will say tomorrow is Amavasya. So Duryodhana says, no, I saw with my own eyes. I saw Krishna performing Tarpana. So it has to be Amavasya today. How will Krishna do Tarpana on any day other than Amavasya? Then Bhishma says, Duryodhana, did you think of one thing? For whom is Krishna doing Tarpana? And that really shocks Duryodhana because he never thought of that question before. Tarpana is done. It is a ritual which is performed for one's parents who have died and the other ancestors. So Bhishma says, Krishna's parents are still alive. Vasudeva is very much alive. Devaki is very much alive. For whom is Krishna doing Tarpana? Didn't you think of that? And then Duryodhana realizes that, oh, he has been fooled yet again by Krishna. So for maintaining Sahadeva's truthfulness, Krishna changed the day of doing Tarpana. There is another version of this story which I found somewhere else. Whatever I explained now, I heard it in one of the Upanyasams by one of the very well-known Upanyasakars called Dr. Venkatesh. The other version I read online somewhere is that when Krishna starts performing Amavasya, starts performing Tarpana on that day before Amavasya, all the deities, all the devatas, everybody is shocked. So the sun, the moon, they also come there. They say, what is this, Krishna? How can you change the rules of the universe? How can it be Amavasya today? Amavasya is supposed to be tomorrow only. So Krishna says, no, now it is definitely Amavasya. Now that you people have come here, definitely it is Amavasya. So they say, why? How? So he says, no, when the sun, moon and earth are all in the same place, in the same line, then that is Amavasya. So now that you, Chandra, and you, Surya, have both come here, then definitely, yes, today is Amavasya. So even if you look at it from that viewpoint, Krishna changed the day of Amavasya. He was willing to change the rules of the universe for the sake of his bhakta, for protecting his bhakta. So this is one story. Let us keep this in mind. There is something for us to learn from this. Then we come to the other story, which is kind of related and has another meaning also, which is important for us. So this is the story of the curse which was given by Maitreya Rishi. We all know that in the Kurukshetra Yuddha, okay, much before that, at the time of Draupadi's Vastraharana, then at that time, Bhima had taken a vow, right? We know that how Duryodhana had, indicated his thigh and patted his thigh and said, Draupadi, come and sit here. And that had angered Bhima so much that he had taken a vow that this very thigh I'm going to smash and kill you on some day. Now that was a vow which was taken by Bhima in anger. And at that point of time, he wanted that thigh which was used to insult and to demean Draupadi should be smashed. But he, in his anger, did not think about the fact that hitting somebody on the thigh is against the rules of the Yuddha. It is against the dharma of fighting with the Gada. Gada Yuddha rules prohibit hitting below the waist. But in his anger, it was that he wanted to vent his anger on the thigh of Duryodhana. And that is why he made that kind of a pratigna, isn't it? So that pratigna would come to. But see how Krishna intervened here also to make that something which is sanctioned and which is not going to be said as being against the rule. There was this Rishi called Maitreya Rishi. Maitreya Rishi was a disciple of Parashara Rishi. And if you remember, Parashara Rishi is the father of Vedavyasa. We know Vedavyasa is the one who wrote the Mahabharata, who wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam. He's the one who is said to be the categorizer and compiler of the Vedas. He's before the Vedas were all one big whole unit. And he is the one who compartmentalized them and gave them the 4 names and put them into categories as the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharvana Veda. So this Vedavyasa's father is Parashara Rishi. And Parashara Rishi's Shishya, disciple, is Maitreya Rishi. In fact, if you have heard of the Vishnu Purana, then the Vishnu Purana is a very elaborate kind of a Purana which gives a lot of insights on all the happenings that we know in the Shastras. So the Vishnu Purana is a conversation between Parashara Rishi and Maitreya Rishi. So this Maitreya Rishi, at one point of time, like it had been, the Pandavas had been sent off into the forest for the Vanavasa, and they were there in the forest, and it was about to be time for that Vanavasa to get over. But Duryodhana had not relented. He said, no, whatever happens, even if they complete the Vanavasa and the Ajnatavasa, I am not going to give them back the kingdom. Let there be war. So he was bent on that kind of a destructive way. And at that time, this Maitreya Rishi comes to the Dhritarashtra's court. Now, when the Maitreya Rishi comes there, then Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, Karna, everybody, they are all sitting in the court. So Maitreya Rishi comes there, and after they have all given him respect and all that, then he starts trying to advise Duryodhana. He tries to give words of counsel to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana and everybody. He says that, see, what you are doing, this is a very wrong thing. You should not go down this path. Definitely, Dharma says that they should be given back the kingdom because they have completed the conditions that you had set. So you have to give in to them. You cannot continue to be adamant like this. And he tells the story, Maitreya Rishi tells the story of how, the Hidimba and other Rakshasas have been killed by Bhima, how Bhima is so powerful all alone, and how all the Pandavas put together are so powerful, and that because they have Krishna on their side, there is nothing and nobody in this entire universe who can conquer them. He tries to tell all these things, and he tries to, drive some sense into Duryodhana's head. And all this time, what is Duryodhana doing? He is shaking his leg and using his foot, he's drawing patterns on the ground. And with his hand, he's clapping on his thigh. Now, all these are signs of, a person being bored or a person being annoyed by something, isn't it? Even now we say, when children sit with their foot touching the ground and then they shake the leg, we say, don't shake the leg like that. That is supposed to be a sign of disrespect. It is a sign of, being bored with what is happening. So this kind of avamaryada, when Duryodhana does, right? He's not only is he not listening to the Rishi's words, he is in fact indicating that he is not bothered whatever the Rishi is telling. That angers Rishi Maitreya so much that he gives a shapa. And what does he say? He says, this thigh that you're tapping and you're patting with so much arrogance, the mighty Bhima is going to smash this thigh with his gada, and that will be the cause of your downfall. So what inspired Maitreya Rishi to give a curse like this? It was Krishna from within who created that kind of an anger and that shrapa to come from the mouth of Maitreya Rishi. By pronouncing this shrapa, Maitreya Rishi set the tone for what was later going to happen. So whatever vow, pratignya that Bhima had taken, we may say that it was not sanctioned by the rules of dharma, of the yuddha, of the Gada Yuddha. But because of the curse of Maitreya Rishi, that act, which was otherwise going to be unlawful, became a divinely sanctioned act. So from both these stories that we have seen, right, we can try and learn certain things. First, the case of Sahadeva, where he was so truthful to tell the reality even to the enemy, not bothering about what would happen to him and what would happen to their side, right? Can we compare our own life today with and our way of conversation or our way of talking with that of Sahadeva? All the Shastras stress on Satyam, on truthfulness, right? We know that famous shloka also which says Satyam bruyat, Priyam bruyat, Nabruyat, Satyam apriyam. We know all these things. Tell the truth, do not tell untruth, right? Even if you have to tell an unpleasant truth, but tell it in a pleasant way. All these things we know. And yet how much of it are we able to adapt in our own lives? So many times for unnecessary reasons, we tell, lies. Sometimes they are outright lies. Sometimes they are white lies, things which we think are harmless, which are not actually untruth, but which are not actually true either. And that has become so much a common practice. But is it right to do that? When we don't follow the principles which the Lord has laid down through the Shastras, then it is being, doing wrong and displeasing the Lord. So on the one hand, we say we are sadhakas or we do spiritual practice. We are doing nama sankirtana, we are saying shlokas, we are doing so many things. And on the other hand, we do something which in a situation, we lie, either an outright lie or what we think to be a harmless white lie, we speak like that. Many times, somebody will ask us directions to go to a particular place. I may not know exactly, but I will say, go like this, go like that. I don't know, but I'm telling something just like that. That is also a lie. There are times when somebody will ask me whether I have done something. Have you completed that work? And I would have actually forgotten about it. But I don't like to say that I have forgotten it. So I try to cook up some other excuse and I say that, right? Then sometimes I want to avoid some unpleasant situation. And to avoid that unpleasantness, I tell a lie. So all these things, why have we got into this habit of lying? Sometimes it may be fear of the consequences. Sometimes it may be out of arrogance. Sometimes it may be to, avoid getting cheated by others. Sometimes it may be to cheat others. Sometimes it may be out of greed because we want something. Whatever be the reason. But basically, there is some kind of an insecurity that is involved here, which is making us tell a lie. So if we want to practice truthfulness, like how Sahadeva did, what was the base of his truthfulness in that incident? His confidence that the Lord will protect him. His confidence that the Lord is on his side. So if we try to cultivate that kind of a bhava, that kind of a shraddha, that kind of a faith, that God is always on our side, that he is there for me. I don't need to do anything else to protect myself. Who am I to protect myself? It is only by his grace that I will be taken care of. If we cultivate that kind of a sense, it will become much easier for us to stick to being truthful. As I already said, through all the Shastras, God has told that you must speak the truth. You must not speak untruth. So let us try to follow that particular, concept which has been given to us. let us try to adhere to truthfulness as much as possible by building on the faith that God is there to take care of us. That is the first thing. The second story, that what happened to Duryodhana. So from that, whatever happens to us, is it because of destiny or is it because of our willful actions? Duryodhana was killed because Bhima struck the mace, the gada on his thigh. Now, was that Prarabdha? Was it the Rishi's curse which caused him to die? Or was it the actions of Duryodhana that led to that chain of events? This is something we need to think about. The first action of behaving in an indecent manner during the Sabha, being indecent to Draupadi, that was the starting point. And then being rude to the Rishi when he came, that was the next thing. Overall, the pattern of behavior, all these put together. So would you say that it was Prarabdha that made Duryodhana to die in that way? Or was it his own willful actions? This is something that we need to think about. Many times we try to blame certain events in our life and say that it is my destiny, or it is Purva Janma Karma, or even worse, many times we say, why is God giving me trouble like this, right? God does not have friends and enemies. So he is not in favor of somebody or not in favor of somebody. He is neutral. But yes, if somebody tries to trouble his bhaktas, he does come to the rescue. So whatever events happen in our life, we must ponder over it. Is it because of my own wrong actions that I have reaped this fruit? Maybe in this life, maybe in past life. Whatever happened in the past life, I am not able to control that. Now, I have nothing, I can't do anything to change that, isn't it? But at least now, whatever is happening in my life, can I try to stick to the right path? Can I try to be continuously following what is the right thing to do, and thereby prevent further misfortune from coming my way? That is something we need to think about. So like Duryodhana, do we bring things upon ourselves? That is what we must think. And if there are certain actions of ours that are responsible for whatever happens to us, we must try and change our behavior accordingly. Now, from both these stories, the common thread in both these stories is that the Lord is ready to go to any extent to protect his devotees. So in the first example, he changed the date of Amavasya. In the second example, the second story, he inspired Maitreya Rishi to pronounce a curse of something which was not actually as per the rules of Yuddha. We know so many more examples. During the Yuddha, to destroy Jayadratha, he blocked the sun and made it appear as if it was already sunset. We know the example of Narasimha Avatara, where he rushed out of the pillar to protect Prahlada. We know Gajendra's story, where he rushed from Vaikuntha to protect what people would say is just an animal, an elephant. So, if this is the extent to which God can go to protect all these people, will he not protect us? Why are we not having that kind of a faith in him? That is what we must think. And using these examples, we must try and build our faith in God. The shloka also is related to this point, that it is from the Bhagavad Gita, the 9th chapter, the 31st shloka says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chanti nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So the Lord says, Krishna says, as he is describing the qualities of who is a bhakta and what happens to them. So he says that those who follow the virtuous path, those who are my bhaktas, quickly they become virtuous. And because of that, they attain lasting peace. They have shanti. O son of Kunti, you declare it boldly that no devotee of mine is ever lost. Name bhakta pranashyati. I will not allow any devotee of mine to get lost. This is the Lord's pratignya. And the curious thing here is that why doesn't the Lord say it himself? That, I am declaring that I will not give up on my devotee. Why is he telling Arjuna to declare that you declare, Arjuna, that the Lord will not forsake his devotee? Why is that done? Because The Lord knows that many times he may go back on his word, but he will do anything possible to make sure that his devotees' words are kept. Like, for example, later after the Bhagavad Gita and all, in the Kurukshetra war itself, there was a situation where Bhishma was raining so many arrows and was fighting so strongly against Arjuna, and Arjuna was not retaliating back. At that point of time, Krishna, who had taken a vow that he will not lift up any arms, he was so angered at this turn of events that he picked up a chakra from one of the rathas which was fallen there, and he rushed towards Bhishma saying, I will finish you off because you are causing so much damage to the Pandava side. Now, why did Krishna do that? He had taken a vow to not pick up arms. But why did he pick up the arms at that point of time? Because Bhishma was his bhakta. And Bhishma had taken a vow that either I will kill Arjuna or I will force Krishna to pick up arms. So Krishna does not mind breaking his own words to keep the words of a devotee. And that is the reason why he does not say that I will take care of my devotee. He tells Arjuna, you declare, you make a pratigna, you say that the Lord will always take care of his devotees. So that when it is Arjuna who is saying, then Krishna will never go back on that word of Arjuna. He will try all he can to protect that word of Arjuna. So this gives us hope. This gives us faith that Krishna is always on our side. The Lord is always on our side. And all we need to do is to follow the path that he has laid down in the Shastras. So let us try and do that to the maximum of our capacity. Usha will now sing the bhajan. I'm sorry, I've taken too long speaking too much today. So there is just 6 minutes left or so. Usha, you can take over, ma.
Akka, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Nitu mechi suvenu inu vithala. Nitu mechi suvenu inu vithala. Dina rakshakane ninna dhyana viyo vithalayya. Nitu mechi suvenu inu vithala. ಓದಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ವೇದವತಂದ ಜನಿಗಿತ್ತೆ ಓದಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ವೇದವತಂದ ಜನಿಗಿತ್ತೆ ವಾದಿಸಿ ನಿನ್ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ಆದಿಶೇಷ ಶಯನನೆ ವಾದಿಸಿ ನಿನ್ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ಆದಿಶೇಷ ಶಯನನಿಯೇನ ನಿತ್ತು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ನೀನು ವಿಠಲ.
Usha, the volume has reduced suddenly.
How is it now?
Yeah, this is better.
Okay. ಆಡಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ಬ್ರೂಢ ನಯ್ಯನೇ ಪಾಡಿ ಪಾಡಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ಏನ ನಿತ್ತು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ನೀನು ವಿಠಲ. ಚಿನ್ನವಿತ್ತು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ಸಿರಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲಯ್ಯ ಏನೋ ವಿಠಲ ಏನ ನಿತ್ತು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು ಏನೋ ವಿಠಲ. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Usha. I think there was a little disturbance in the middle, maybe with the internet connection. I couldn't hear the last part.
Yeah, I think my internet connection was a little off.
Yeah, that's okay, no problem. Could you just tell the meaning of this, Usha, very briefly?
Ha, Akka. I can say in Kannada only.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. ಹಾ ಹಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ, ಹೇಗೆ ನಾನು ಮೆಚ್ಚಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ, ನಿನ್ ಧ್ಯಾನವನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀನೇ ನನ್ಗೆ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಕೂಡ ನೀನೇ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಧ್ಯಾನವಿಯೋ ವಿಠಲಯ್ಯ ಅಂತ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಓದಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಓದ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ ಮೆಚ್ಚಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ವೇದನ್ನ ತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ವಾದಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನೋ ಆದಿಶೇಷ ಶಯನನೇ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಡಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನ್ ಎಂತ ಪೆದ್ದು, ನಾನ್ ಇದು ಅದು ಏನೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ ನಿನ್ ಮೆಚ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನನ್ ಕೈಲಿ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಿನ್ ಮೆಚ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಶಕ್ಯತೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಪಾಡಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನೋ ಪವನಜ ನೊಡೆಯನೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಾಡಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮೆಚ್ಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ಪವನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಆಂಜನೇಯ ದೇವ್ರು. ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಡೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಅವರು ಮೆಚ್ಚೋ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮೆಚ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ. ಚಿನ್ನವಿತ್ತು ಮೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವೆನು, ಚಿನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನೇನ್ ಮೆಚ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? ನಾನ್ ನಿನ್ನ ಇದು ಸಿರಿದೇವಿ ರಮಣನೆ, ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿನೇ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನೇನು ಇಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹಾಗೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಬೇಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು.
ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಹೌದು. ಸೊ
ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ನಾವೇನು
ಪೂರ್ಣಾನಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ he is like complete in himself and in all bliss and infinite. So we are so finite, we can't we don't have the capability or anything to offer to him anta.
True. Very nice, Usha. Thank you so much. So we should learn that, we should have that spirit of akinchanatva, that I have nothing, I am nobody, I am nothing. And only because of your grace, oh Lord, you should take care of me and protect me. If I have nothing to claim, that I will try and pull you onto my side. I have nothing with which to attract you. But because of my helplessness, because I'm just not fit for anything else, you have to shower your grace on me. So with that bhava, when we pray, then the Lord really does come to us. So let us offer, we have less than 1 minute. Let us offer Kritagnyata. Let us offer gratitude at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and the Guru for inspiring us to start and join this satsang. And let us pray that their blessings and grace should always be on us. Namaskar. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. And we will meet again next Tuesday, same time at 6:30. Namaste.
Thank you.